number 5 in our series of love letters from Viva, where we love just to give a taste of what's to come and whet your appetite, but at the same time, I think I said last time, share the goodness, and that felt quite right, really. So welcome and thank you for coming to join us. We're here. I'm going to hand over to Sheila because I usually rattle on and then I say, oh, now to Sheila, and she says, well, you've said it all.
I honestly don't mind. We're not going to ignore Jo Bailey. Thank you for being here and agreeing to meet us, even though we got the timing slightly wrong. But we're here anyway. Different countries, different time zones, and we were just chatting about that in the background, weren't we? That you're writing a book, or your book is finished. Is it The Principle of Transformation?
Well, no, it's not. It's been in a state of transformation for many years. It's had many evolutions, but I can talk about that more in a bit.
Because we gave you a lovely title called The Miracle of Transformation. That's why.
Oh, okay.
The topic of your talk today is, in case you didn't know, is the miracle of transformation. But just those two words, miracles, transformation, or principle of transformation, wherever we want to go with it, we're really keen. And we were just saying as well, we're really looking forward to having you with us in August the 6th, for a splash of Viva for 2 hours.
I'm delighted to be a part of this experience. It's just I've always been so attracted to what you guys are doing, and just kind of it is so alive as Viva, Viva la Viva. And so I was so looking forward to coming to Spain and doing it, but I'm glad that we'll be doing it together anyway, and maybe someday in the future I'll get over to Spain. But I love the topic that you brought up, Sheila, the miracle of transformation. And I was reflecting this morning about what I might share that's fresh and new for me. And what was really what came to me immediately was just how grateful I am for this time that we've been having. And that may sound kind of crazy. We're going through an extreme amount of turmoil and disruption in our world, whether it's the pandemic or the economics of all of this, or the division. We could go on and on about all the eruption that seems to be happening. And yet for me, I feel so lucky and so fortunate that during this time of the lockdown and during this time of kind of stepping back from everything we're doing, whether it's conferences or the way we do counseling or the way we interact with our families, the way we shop, it's just affected every single aspect of our lives. And a lot of people are really struggling with that. And I understand that. And I completely understand that if I didn't know what I know about the principles, that this would be an extraordinarily difficult time. And it has at times been difficult. I have to be honest about that. There's been times when I felt like I've really lost my moorings here. What's up? What are we going to do with the conference? How are we going to handle this? God, I don't get to see my friends anymore. I miss them. How can we? And so I've had those times, but having that constant, that reliable source of wisdom and insight within me, and knowing that that's always there, and knowing that that's who I am, and knowing that we're designed perfectly, we're divinely designed for transformation. This is just an extraordinarily rich time for reinventing ourselves, for transforming ourselves personally, for transforming our relationships. I've never felt closer to my wife than during these times. It's just been a cleaning house of all the things that are getting in the way. Literally cleaning our house, getting rid of things we don't need anymore, transforming our yard and our gardens. So it's having the time to be quiet, to slow down to the speed of life, as I once wrote about. To slow down to the speed of love, and to have this time to really listen more deeply to that true essence that we are. And from that comes a deeper sense of connection for me with all people, a deeper sense of serenity and peace of mind, that it's unconditional, that we can have it no matter our circumstances, that that this is a time of deep soul searching, in a sense. And by soul searching, I don't mean analyzing, I mean stepping back and listening to that wisdom within and to that voice of truth that is in all of us. And so I'm just so extremely grateful that this opportunity has befallen us. And not to be calloused about that. I know there's great pain and suffering for many, many people. And this has been a very trying, challenging time for a lot of people. But I see that the principles and what Sid unveiled is a way to help us see life in a non-habitual way. William James, the founder of American psychology, once said that genius was nothing more than seeing life in a non-habitual manner. Genius is nothing more than seeing life in a non-habitual manner. And it's nothing better than a pandemic and an economic shutdown for the world to get our attention and clear our heads of everything we think we know and go back to the drawing boards, go back to the source of creation, the source of hope, the source of new thinking, the source of reinvention, the source of rethinking the whole way that we relate to each other as a planet, the way that we treat our environment, the way that we relate to one another politically, the way that we prioritize what's really important in our lives. So much like I work in the addiction field, as you guys know, and quite often people come to treatment for addiction when they've hit a wall because they've gotten arrested for their driving while intoxicated, or their family said enough is enough, you're going to treatment, or physical consequence, they're losing the function of their liver, or their doctor has said you need treatment, you're going to die. Many crises, a crisis is often an opportunity, if you're willing and open, to transform. So that's what my book is about, is really, it has evolved from being a book about the transformation interviews I did with about 50 addicts who had had an awakening experience, a spiritual awakening, and to try to find that common thread in all those experiences. It's now morphed into, we're all going through this together, and how does understanding the nature of transformation help all of us go through this time of extraordinary change? So that's what I hope to talk about at this Viva conference, is a message of great hope and new beginnings, fresh start, a reinvention of ourselves. And it's happening. It's happening in our schools. It's happening in our corporations. People are going, gee, maybe we don't all have to be in the office. Maybe there's a different way to educate people where we aren't all in a classroom in straight rows and doing it in a linear way. Maybe let's just reinvent education. And some are hanging on to the old ways, and they are suffering the most. People who are willing to surrender their habitual knowing to the unknown and rediscover are going through this with ease, with mental health, with resiliency, and with grace. And that's what's possible for all people. So we really need to get this message out to a lot of people. And so I'm so glad that whoever you are there in the world listening to this, that you take this in and can feel a sense of renewed hope and self-discovery and transformation. Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Mm.
It all seemed very as if you were talking to me, Joe, which you were, of course.
I am talking to you.
No, but in the sense of when I've had that sense of the moorings. Early on, that sense of the anchor went down.
Yeah.
It didn't mean I wasn't going to go through all kinds of transformations. And for me, there haven't always been, it isn't a sense of, well, you've got to stay very, very peaceful. It's just like at root, in the very heart of us, we never leave anywhere. We're never any different. And that's been incredibly helpful. But even when I've lost sight of it, I don't feel I have. It's like a paradoxical in a way, because I can go off into an analytical storm, and I can be almost convinced by the arguments that I'm presenting to myself, and then there's something that's just rock steady, is that the right word, or the anchored?
Yeah.
I think for people to come to see that and realize actually that's true for them,
that there's a constant that we can rely on, just like the principle of gravity. Without that understanding, we couldn't have had the Industrial Revolution. We couldn't have air travel. We couldn't have any of this. But with the deeper understanding of the principle, which Sid brought, he was the harbinger of that through his experience. And then each of us had to hear that for ourselves, not quote Sid, that doesn't do any good, not believe in Sid, but to have our own experience, our own transformation is the only way that we can pass this on. And know it. For me, it's like, I love to travel in the wilderness. I'm an adventurer of sorts. And when I go into the wilderness, I have my compass and my map. And even though it all looks unfamiliar, I know I can always find my way because I have my compass. I know what direction I'm going. Even though I might get turned around by the wind or the movement of the sun and not know which direction am I going right now. Oh, just look at the compass, get your bearings. And I know I'm never lost. I'm never lost if I know how to navigate. And Sid and the principles gave us the navigational tool to go through uncertainty and life, these uncertain times in such a beautiful way.
And what struck me was the William James quotes. So can you repeat it?
He said, there's many wonderful quotes, but he said, genius is nothing more than seeing life in a non-habitual manner.
And that was what struck me. It was that what I heard in that was the minute that we put a label on something, we're really not seeing it anymore. It's like we know it, and so we don't have to look again. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen that one before. I know that bird. I know it's a robin. I know that tree is an oak tree, and then there's no more seeing the miracle in a way. There's no more seeing the miracle in that creation, in everything, and we take so much for granted. That's kind of what I heard in what you said, and seeing it fresh and seeing it again, that really is the genius, isn't it? Seeing the genius in everything and the miracle of everything.
I grew up in a family of horticulturists. My father owned a tree nursery, shrubs, flowers, that type of thing. And I learned all the names of all of the plants and all the trees and all of the bushes and all the perennials and this and that, Latin and English and blah, blah, blah. And so I just saw, when I looked at a plant, I saw, oh, there's an arboretum or arborvitae, or there's an oak, and that's a white oak, not a red oak, it's a white oak, and da-da-da-da. And I wouldn't see the tree. I wouldn't experience the essence of the tree or the plant. And as my mind has gotten clearer, it's like the water getting clearer, the lens getting clearer, I'm able to drop into the moment and just, oh my God, just get so taken by nature and flowers and plants and birds and the sounds of the wind and on and on and on. It's like, wow, who needs a TV? This is like this reality show is really good.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to miss it, that's for sure.
Is that what the people describe as it? Nothing changed on the outside, but everything changed. And it's our willingness or our noticing that we haven't been seeing fresh and new. We've just been seeing the same old, and suddenly, it's like somebody switched the light on and everything's like, wow, that's always been there.
Mm.
You know, do I have another minute here?
Yeah, you've got another 5 minutes at least.
Oh, okay. So another really important point that I want to make about transformation that I'll talk more about in our talk that we're giving is that it's ongoing evolution. It's not like you have a transformational experience and that's it, you're done. It's transformation is the never-ending story, and I still get really caught up in my thinking. The veil comes over my habitual thinking, and pretty soon I'm like overdosed on the news, and oh God, we're going to hell in a handbasket. You know, we're really in trouble here. What are we going to do? You know, and get all caught up. And then but then that compass gets pulled out, like, oh, I'm not feeling it. And I remember my connection to mind, to the universal oneness of everything. And just that, it's just like always in the background, like you said, Sue, it's just always this anchor, this default setting, this remembrance that we are one, everything is fine. We're always just living in the feeling of our thinking in this moment. And when we wake up to that, we, with the understanding of where our experience is coming from, we're surprisingly unburdened by our thinking. It falls away, and when it falls away, it makes room for an insight to pop in, and we get a deeper understanding, which puts us on that upward trajectory of levels of consciousness. We rise in our consciousness, and we take a little bit with us every time we go through one of those blind spots, those setbacks, with those times where we seemingly feel like we're losing everything we knew about the principles. Those are the times when for me now, it's like, oh goody, what am I going to learn this time? You know, because like a rocket ship, it has to go around the gravitational field of the Earth to develop enough inertia or enough speed to break out of the gravitational field of our thought system. And every time we break out, we another layer comes off. It's like another layer is removed. And so transformation, it has its moments of setbacks that are really opportunity for deeper realization. Mm. And that's a really, when I work with addicts that will have slips or will, you know, God, I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm not, where that feeling I had when I was in treatment, it's gone. Now I'm feeling all anxious like I used to. And I just remind them that this is opportunity time to go deeper, to get a deeper, and that brings about an open-mindedness and a willingness and a hope that allows for that insight to pop them up to another level. And as a counselor, as a coach, it's really helpful to know that, so that you don't get discouraged with your clients, that you can see them in a process of evolution rather than, oh, we're done with this now. Yeah. You know, it's a process.
Mm. That's such a different approach, isn't it? Mm. To what I would say traditionally, people would get more and more worried if you had a setback.
Yes.
And, you know, even carers can get really worried, or coaches, well, not coaches so much, but people looking after can think, oh dear, we're in for, you know, another whatever episode. Yeah. And actually to look at that and say, an opportunity, well, that in itself is inspiring.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, we're always living in this moment.
Yeah.
And now we're living in this moment. And now we're living in this moment. Mm. And so every moment is a recreation. Every moment is an opportunity to see life new, to see it fresh. And the past is an illusion. It just doesn't exist. It's gone. But whatever you did yesterday that you screwed up on, now you have an opportunity to make it right. Honey, I'm really sorry for what I said to you yesterday. I apologize sincerely. Mm. Or, oh, let's give that another shot to the client. let me say it to you again in a different way. So we're always given that second chance that Sid talked about in his book, Second Chance, all of our lives.
Yeah. There's a lot for us to keep exploring, but yes, I think our time's up for today.
Okay. Well, great. Well, it was fun. It was so good to see you two.
You too, Joe.
You two little spirits that are carrying this out. Way to go.
We're loving every moment of the technical challenges.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine how we're going to do it. We could use.
This is transformational. The whole taking Viva online process is very transformational.
Yeah. Well, we're going to steal some of your ideas for our conference.
Oh, good.
We're going to try to do what we're doing here with our faculty. So
yeah, excellent.
Thank you for your gift that you didn't even know you gave us.
There's always something to say, isn't there? Always.
Yeah.
Well,
I've got another session too. I've got to go.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you.
You're very welcome.
We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
There you go. I think I managed to get us off Facebook without getting rid of them.
Well done.